I kind of hold on to my coins. It's my belief that we're still in reasonably early. So I'm going to tell you guys something. I've been working with computers since 1979. All right? And you know, some of my first machines I literally built myself, and you can get a Zenith kit and put it together. Then I would make modifications. But when you start off, when they were starting off, you know, you'd grab a Z80 processor, you'd make some additional circuitry to handle the output to the video screen. You would make a circuitry to talk to a keyboard, and you would have maybe the ability to send to a parallel port. All right, so the processor itself can't do anything. The CPU that's in the computer can't do anything. You had to write code, some firmware that was embedded in the machine that got loaded immediately, and it could talk to that additional circuitry. And that firmware would allow me, it would say scan the keyboard, and it would sit there and monitor the keyboard. And when a key was pressed, it would move that data into the processor and then into memory to store it if that's something that you pressed. It would then send additionals. There would be other firmware on the other side that would send it to the video circuitry that say put that A on the screen. And this initial firmware was the ins and outs to literally make all of the components talk and work with each other, all the circuitry talk to each other, so that the processor had something to do to be able to, because the processor by itself, a processor can't do anything if you can't get information to it and you can't get the information out of it. Okay. And so that was your first code, is in that basic firmware. From there, you could then build an operating system on top of it, so that you didn't have to talk to the thing in machine language. And you would build, you know, CPM, which was the first, before DOS there was CPM, and it was a command language, and you can change the directory and look at things, or, you know, see what files, or run a program. And so you're operating, so you had your firmware working at the hardware level, you had an operating system, then on top of that you would then have your program that ran on the operating system that used the firmware that talked to the processor. So what I'm looking at, and I see the coins, and I see these infrastructures being built. It just outright reminds me that these first coins and these first infrastructure configurations are the very first level, the very first tiers of a network-wide computer, and it's the first ones that come out. It's basically the operating systems that programs will be built on. And you know, just like Microsoft and all these others that came to fruition, that ran and got the information in and out with their operating systems, it allowed all these programs to be built. And you can buy Windows for what, $99, but the program from Oracle that runs on it, that runs a database, it's going to cost you what, $10,000 or what have you, whatever. Those programs could be worth so much more than just the basic operating system. So when I see, from my perspective, when I look at what's going on and what's being put together, things like Elastos, things, you know, Cardano and EOS, and all these infrastructure-based units, and then these store of value coins, it's clear to me that this is the first tier level of something so much greater and bigger that's going to be, in 20 years, is going to be built on top of all of this. So from my perspective, you know, I'm holding on to the things that I think that will be used in the future, and not every operating system or program is going to end up surviving. But there's no doubt in my mind, as time goes on, that so much more is going to be built on top of this stuff and interact with other industries. So, you know, this moment of trying times for most people is pretty exciting to me, because this is buying me more time to mine more coins and to earn a few extra dollars to put into it. When I purchase coins or I mine coins, at no point in my brain have I ever doubted the effort and the level of effort that I'm putting into doing that. Even right now, you know, obviously, I keep in the back of my head, I'm not, you know, I'm picking up acorns right now. Yeah, I'm not picking up gold nuggets and just running to the bank and cashing them in. I'm picking up acorns that I'm gonna plant, and down the road, it's gonna turn into something pretty good. So that's my thought on that.